So I thought I'd do something a little different today. I just watched a video of a guy who's been on YouTube forever. I used to watch him all the time, watched every one of his videos, but kind of got away from him. I kind of got tired of watching what he was doing, but he made a valid point today, and YouTube's a tough business to be in. I know nobody seems to think that. You're always chasing the next view, and it's quite tiresome, and you get burned out. And there are tons of big YouTubers right now just quitting, making all kinds of videos and hugely popular, and they're just quitting. YouTube's become a business. I mean, even the company itself is trying to figure out how to make profits. So that's pretty interesting, considering it's kind of a socialist company. So anyway, I wanted to talk about happiness, which I don't think anybody's really all that happy anymore. Kind of the point of the video about that big YouTuber saying that let's make videos that we want to make, not what YouTube wants us to make. So thought I'd do that today. Matter of fact, I was going to make a video about chickens because some guy wanted me to make a video about chickens, and I thought, well, what am I going to say about chickens? I don't know what more I can say. I've said everything there is to say. Make eggs. I've got a cheap chicken run. Everybody thinks it's ugly and that I need to get something more expensive, and I'm not going to. So I'm going to talk about why I'm happy today. As you know, I had you may know, had some car trouble the other day. It overheated. When I jumped out, I had to put more antifreeze in it. For some reason, the level indicator on this thing, on the antifreeze reservoir, is wrong. So I had to add more. Well, then when I got back in the truck and I started driving down the road, the temperature gauge wouldn't heat up. It was stuck at the minimum temperature, 160. And it's supposed to be about 195, I think. So I was pretty sure that I burned up the thermostat. Now, it's interesting how that works. It's kind of a design feature in the thermostat that if it overheats, this thermostat automatically loses its sealing surfaces on this particular one. So it will make sure that coolant is going through so it doesn't overheat. It's kind of a good thing. But that means that your thermostat is damaged. So I had to replace it. I was going to replace it somehow or another. Now this happened a while back, a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And I took it in to get it replaced. I was building a tiny house at the time, and I just didn't have time to do it myself. So I did a little bit of research and realized this might be above my head right now, considering what all I had going on. You know, I was having to get firewood, and I was having to get the tiny house built. It was cold. It's just another thing I didn't want to do. So for $100 and some odd, I think $175, the guy replaced the thermostat for me. But it overheated right afterwards. And what it was he filled it to the indicators, and I had to put some more in it. Fortunately, it didn't burn up the thermostat. But it has overheated about every February time frame since. So for whatever reason, it overheats because it's losing some antifreeze or whatever, who knows. So from now on, I'm just going to check it every month. Just fill it up, whether it needs it or not. I'm just going to fill it up and let it blow over if necessary. They're $20 a gallon, I think, or $16 a gallon, something like that. Who cares? I'll waste it. So I did a lot of research trying to figure out how to change it out, and it really wasn't that hard. I made a video. I'll put an up next box at the end of this video to that video. It really wasn't that hard to change it out. Had to take the tire off because it's right back here. I had to take this plume off, which wasn't hard. There's one bolt here, and then a hose clamp here, and then there was a hose clamp down here as well. Took that off, and within 20 minutes I had it taken off, and probably another 20 minutes to put it back on. Burped the system, did everything I was supposed to, but it was still indicating cold. Differently this time, but still indicating cold. And the reason it was different was when I was in the driveway and I would start the truck, it would heat up. As a matter of fact, it heated up and I thought, hey, we fixed the problem. But then I took it for a test drive and it went back down to 160, which was different than what it was happening before. Before, it was quite obvious that the thermostat was stuck open. But this time, you were getting variable temperatures. Well, I made a video about that, and of course, everybody commented what was wrong with it. But there was only one person, two kind of, who suggested it might have been something that it actually was. What happened is the computer has to reset when you put a new thermostat in it. Not exactly sure why, it doesn't make sense. There is a wire now that goes into the thermostat. You got to unplug the thermostat from a wire. I don't know, maybe that's a sending unit. The thing is the sending unit is on the other side of the truck. I looked it up, so I really don't know what that wire does, but it doesn't matter. What happens is the computer was sending out bad information. When the truck was in park, the engine temperature gauge and all that would heat up appropriately. But when it was in drive, I don't know, maybe the thermostat was, the wiring was telling it to open up or something, whatever it was. So it was a dramatic difference, so it would cool right back off. So when this guy said, hey, you might need to reset the computer, and then there was another guy explaining how to do it, I came out here and I reset the computer, and it wasn't hard to do at all. All you got to do is disconnect the positive cable here, the negative cable. Somebody asked, why didn't I just connect the two wires together? Because they don't reach. But once you disconnect these cables, then you run a wire between the two. So you have this cable hooked up to this cable, but not to the battery. You just leave the battery alone. Turn on the headlights, which the headlights are not going to come on, and it discharges all the electrical out of the system. So there might be capacitors or something in there that's holding the electrical charge, and it dissipates all that. Leave that wire hooked up for about 20 minutes, and then you put the cables back on, and we took it for a test drive, and it ran just fine. And I'm on cloud 9 today and yesterday. I'm just I woke up thinking, hey, I fixed the truck. The thing is on this weekend, it was pretty busy for me. The truck needed fixed, so that was on my mind. And as a matter of fact, I didn't know what I was going to do because I wanted to get my taxes done this last weekend also. I got to, just like everybody else, got to do your taxes. So I wanted to do that on Sunday, but if I was working on the truck, I wasn't going to be able to do taxes. But I got the truck fixed. So then I got the taxes done, and it's like, okay, everything's done. Everything worked. I'm just so happy. Which kind of brings me back to the point of the video. I remember tool time. You remember tool time with Tim, the tool man Taylor, and Jill, his wife, and the neighbor next door? There's one episode I remember very, very specifically. So Jill is driving that car around, that antique car. I think he called it a Nomad is what it was. I don't remember what the name of the car was, but it was something that he built. So it was her car. It was like a station wagon. And she saw the check engine light, or the oil, check the oil light come on. And she ignored it. And it blew up the engine. So when she got home, she said, hey, I blew up the engine. He said, well, didn't the oil light come on? Well, yeah, it came on. Well, why didn't you put oil in it? She thought, well, I thought if it was really bad, an alarm would go off or something. So he had to rebuild the engine. And he's acting all mad the whole time that he has to rebuild the engine because she didn't check the oil. And he's sitting there complaining, I had to replace the valves and the pistons and the rings. I had to bore out the cylinders. I had to replace the conductor valve and the alternator and the water pump and the radiator. And I don't know how many people noticed in that. I've said it in my videos before, and there's only one person that's ever noticed it. What is a conductor valve? He made it up. It was fiction. I mean, he was just rambling things off, trying to make it sound like it was more complicated than it was. I've said that in my videos before. I forget what I was talking about. Maybe the generator. I had to replace this and that and this and that and the conductor valve. And somebody said, what is a conductor valve? It's a joke. But the thing is I think towards the end of the episode, he was talking about how much fun it was to rebuild that engine again. And it was something that he really enjoyed doing. I don't know if you remember the episode, but the whole series, he was building a different car. And towards the end of the series, after him and his boys finished the car, he sold it. And I guess it was Jill or the boys, I don't remember. He said, "Why'd you sell it? You worked so hard on that." And he says, "Yeah, but now it's finished. I have nothing to do. I can do another one now." And he can spend more time with his boys. It wasn't so much the finished product that he wanted. He enjoyed the journey. And that's what's cool about living this life. Living off grid is the journey. It's not the destination. I mean, yeah, it's great that I live off grid. I don't have a stressful job that's killing me. I can do things on my own terms. It's great. But the journey is even better. And I think a lot of people miss the journey. It's all about the destination. I see it in the comment section all the time. How I'm dumb and I need to do this and I need to do that because this is what you gotta have. I think a lot of people just miss the point of the channel. It isn't about having all the toys. It's about being happy. And so at the end of the video, I always say, so you can live your dreams. Now I know that most people probably shut off the video before they hear that. When I say, if you click this up next box, it'll take you to a video and I name off the video. I hope I can inspire you to do whatever so you can live your dreams. I'm sure you've already shut off the video before you hear that part of the video. But that is the most important part of the video. If you're not inspired to live your dreams, then why are you watching these videos? It's an off-grid channel. There's no entertainment to it. There's no drama to it. It's just how to live off-grid and be happy and live your dreams. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to the video where I was, stick around now, changing that thermostat. So hope I can inspire you to be happy when you're living your dreams. Thanks for watching.